I would like to program kick and snare patterns as I perform, but I don't want to have to deal with punching data into a sequencer. It's too much distraction. So I've worked out a system. First, we set up a group with a drum rack and populate it with our favorite kick drum samples, ideally all tuned to the same pitch. Classic playback mode, crank sustain down and map decay and release to macro 1, and transpose to macro 2, and we copy this to all our siblings. We map these controls to our MIDI controller, so we have our sample decay and pitch controls. Then we throw in a MIDI pitch effect with a range equal to the number of our samples, in my case 8, and map that to our MIDI controller. This is our sample selector knob. Make sure the sample selector is at 0, and then make a clip and draw in a simple 4x4 beat using the first kick sample. Now we have something like a kick track on a sampler or drum machine, but without the sequencer. Although everybody likes 4/4 beats, we probably want some more flexibility. Now we could just fill up the track with individual clips of all the possible kick patterns we may ever need, but I don't think 8 slots will be enough, and I don't want to have to page around searching for the right one. We're trying to perform, it's got to go fast. Instead, I'm just going to make 8 clips. Some basic core patterns, a 4 to the floor kick, maybe 2 or 3 simple breakbeat patterns. These are my go-to emergency patterns. The other clips will be a single kick every bar, every 2 bars, and variations of double kicks, like these. We set launch mode to legato on all of these clips. These are our primary kicks. Then we duplicate the track and map the same knobs on our MIDI controller to decay, pitch, and sample select. These are our secondary kicks. You might want to set a shorter decay range, slightly lower volume, some high-pass filtering, or some sidechain compression from the primary kick so that they don't overlap too much. Delete the core patterns and create new ones as you see fit, then disable legato on the clips and set quantize to 1/16. Now, we can trigger our secondary kick out of time with the primary, creating new patterns on the fly. Remember our emergency breakbeat pattern from before? We can now make the same pattern by timing our secondary kick correctly. You can duplicate the track again and make patterns for a tertiary kick. Here, I have clips of tertiary kicks on every beat with increasing probability, as well as some more single hit kicks that I can throw in whenever I feel like it. Experiment and find out the patterns that are fun and useful to you. For snares, we'll use a different trick. We set up the drum rack just the same as our primary kick track, but this time take care to set velocity to volume to 100%. Sometimes that doesn't entirely do the trick, so I also set a velocity controlled filter. I want to hear nothing when velocity is at the minimum. Don't forget to copy these values to siblings. Then we add the MIDI effect velocity invert, set minimum to 0, and map its on-off switch to our controller. We make a clip with the snare on 2 and 4 at full velocity and on the 3 with minimum velocity. Legato mode on so that it's always in time with our primary kick. Now we can switch to halftime at the turn of a knob. This clip alone will do a lot of heavy lifting. I just fill up the remaining clips with variations on that pattern and it works for me. But you could make a secondary snare track, just like we did for the kicks, if you like going hard with the snares or need more variation possibilities. These two techniques, splitting patterns across multiple tracks and double occupying clips with inverted velocity, are very fast and fun ways to perform and change patterns without getting bogged down in piano rolls and sequences.